I went from owning 0 apartments to owning 194 apartments within 12 months. I'm going to give you the 5-step framework to do that yourself today. Hey, Small Axe community, it's your boy Nico. This show is dedicated to helping you use your small axe to build a personal empire. So, on this show, I'm going to share some real, raw, behind the scenes info that's going to help you build your own multifamily portfolio. So, if you enjoy this show, I would love it if you could share it with somebody that you think could get value from it and write a review. It's the only way that we can grow this thing. Now, let's get to work. Let's jump into this episode and start sharpening those axes. Okay, so I started my real estate journey at the end of 2019, and by the end of 2020, I had closed on a 194-unit apartment complex. I'm going to give you the 5 steps that I think will give you the same results and the same success. Step number 1 is realization. Now, what do I mean by realization? You need to come to terms with the fact that you cannot do this alone, especially if you have 0 track record, 0 apartments under management. Even if you have the capital to do so by yourself, you are not going to do this alone. I need you to first, step 1, realize that multifamily is a team sport. This is a game that you need to be involved with others. Get involved, get in your mindset, and I had to do the same. It took me months to get over this, that I am not going to do it alone. You need to come to the realization that you are not going to do this alone. And I know you want more details on this, and I could tell a full story, and I will. I'll give you a little bit of background, but I'm not going to go into too much depth because I know you also want to hear the rest of the reasons or steps that you can take to get your own 194-unit apartment complex today. But here's my background. I was interested in real estate. I started looking at real estate here locally where I live in New York. I figured that I was looking with my brother and some friends, and we were going to buy a duplex, 800 plus K, and it was going to barely cash flow, if that. And I just felt like it was too risky. So I started looking at larger buildings to purchase here locally. And I found a knockdown, a building that needed to be knocked down. And what I did from that point on was I met with, like, I contacted some mentors for free advice, and I got some advice. And then I contacted a builder who could do the construction for me. Then I contacted the city on what would be permissible. And I met with them, and I met with everybody, and I figured out the total cost. And then it turned, and then I met with a realtor who told me that it would be best done as like condos and sold off rather than rentals in the end, because it was just too expensive. So at this point, I was looking at a $20+ million project. So I'm looking at a $20+ million project, 0 experience, 0 money in the bank, thinking that I'm going to close this thing with investors. What the heck? So it was that point. It was November or December of 2019 that I made this realization, which leads me to step number 2. I needed to get educated. And step 3, I needed mentorship. Let's back up a little bit. So they're always going to be coinciding. They're always going to be hand in hand. Step 1, you need to realize that you cannot do this alone and that you need help and guidance. Okay. Step 2, you need education. You need to educate yourself through whatever means and whatever forms you enjoy. I was listening to books. I was attending workshops and meetup groups online, virtually, and in person. I was listening to podcasts. Those were my main sources of education at the time. And then I ramped it up within the next few months through my mentorship program, which I'm going to explain here. So numbers 2 and number 3 are going to go hand in hand forever. So mentorship and education should be a constant throughout your journey, no matter how long you're doing it for. Remember, Michael Jordan always had a coach, a mentor, right? The top players in any industry are always going to have coaches and mentors. You need the same. So step 1, realize that you cannot do this alone. You're going to get partners. You're going to get mentors. Step 2, you're going to start educating yourself more and more and more, and remain that a constant throughout your entire journey, whatever means you like or you intake educational material. It could be a course. You could take an online course. It could be podcasts, like I said, books, audiobooks, meetup groups. It could be networking sessions. It could be a variety of different things that you are going to get educated on. There are universities, right, that you can go take like financial courses or real estate planning and development. You can do that as well, but you don't need that. You do need to educate yourself, though. You do need to be involved in the weeds with deals and getting deals done, which means you need to network and talk to people. So step 2, educate always. Now, Step three, you need coaching and mentorship. You need somebody that's going to work with you that has done this before. You cannot expect to do this and figure this shit out on your own. I am sorry, you're not going to do it. Or you might, but it's going to take way too much time. If you want to do all this within 1 year, follow these steps. You need mentorship. You need guidance. You need coaching, somebody that can help you. So there's so many different mentorship programs out there, and there's so many different groups that you can join. So this is going to take some time as well. Spend some time interviewing different programs, looking at their costs, looking at what they offer, getting testimonials from people that have done it before, have participated in that group before. Talk to people, reach out and call them. I joined the Jake and Gino community, and then I joined the MIH, Make It Happen Mastermind community. When I acquired the 194 unit property, which we're discussing now, I was not yet in the MIH community. I had only joined the Jake and Gino community. In that community, I was given two coaches. One of the coaches was a deal coach who would look at deals with me, and I would underwrite deals with this person once a week and really ask a billion questions to. It was crucial for me to have this person in my network, in my background, so I can always bounce ideas and bounce questions off of this person. Now, I had another coach who was essentially my accountability coach, keeping me on track, constantly asking me, what am I doing? What am I working on? And it helping me move the needle with my action, taking action. Okay. So that is step three. Step one, realize you can't do it alone. Step two, and constant, educate yourself through whatever means you prefer. Step three, join a group, a program, paid or non-paid. Join a group of people that have done what you wanted to do, that you're trying to do before. Find people that inspire you, get the testimonials of other people that have gone through their program or are currently members of their program, and talk to them. Join that mentorship program. And now we're on step four, network like crazy. So, networking is crucial. And this is another constant. Along with education, mentorship, this is a constant. You're always going to be networking with people. One of my biggest tips for networking is being your true self with whoever you're networking with. Do not put on this false persona. Do not dress differently when you're meeting somebody in person or on Zoom. Do not act differently. Do not hide anything. Obviously, don't be overly forthcoming with your personal information, personal life, but be your true and genuine self when you're meeting with people, because you are potentially getting into a partnership with these people. So, networking with people is crucial for finding partners, crucial for finding team members like attorneys, like architects, like insurance brokers, like real estate brokers, like cost segregation study people. So there's so many different people that you're going to need to meet and going to want to have a relationship with, whether you're going to partner with them on a deal or not. But what is absolutely crucial is that your true self. When I first started networking, I was I thought that I had to be this professional, wearing a suit kind of guy. I am now a real estate mogul businessman, but that's not who I am. I like to surf. I like to hang out with my friends. I play reggae music. These are all non traditional things, right? And you wouldn't see somebody who plays reggae music, percussion in a reggae band, or somebody who surfs all the time and is a surf instructor and a school teacher, right? You wouldn't see this person as a real estate mogul. And I was fearful of that. I was fearful that people were going to say, oh, this guy's not legit, not real. But in the end, I'm telling you from experience, it is 100% better to just be your true, genuine self. And if you find people that you don't mesh with because you are a surfer and they are a uptight, strict businessman, or vice versa, you are an underwriter and you love numbers and they are this wild and crazy person, then the partnership is not supposed to be. And that's fine. There are so many people out there. Trust in the universe, trust in your skills of networking that you will get the people that you need to accomplish your goals. They will come to you. Just keep being yourself. So, in order to network, what I did was I jumped on calls with, messaged with, and looked at deals with dozens of people in the community that I joined. So I joined the Jake and Gino community and I started networking right away. I was very withdrawn at first. I was like, I don't like doing this. I didn't feel comfortable talking to people. I was like, how is this going to help me? I'm trying to find a deal, but it does help. And I'll get to that in a little bit. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be talking to people. You never know what type of opportunity is going to come, whether it be a simple connection to somebody who has a deal, whether it be somebody who has a deal that you end up talking to, whether it's somebody who has money that is looking for a deal that you might have, whether it be an attorney that you need for closing a syndicate or creating syndication documents. There are so many reasons to be networking and speaking with people. They might also give you tidbits of information. You might also just be interested in their background, their story, their life, and you might make a new friend. So, networking is key. Networking is crucial. Networking is how I got my first deal, that 194 unit complex. Step 5 is to take action. And I did. So, within the first 12 months, I came to the realization that I could not do this on my own. I started educating like a psychopath all day, every day, focused 100% on real estate while doing my W 2. I was crazy about it, and I still am crazy about it. I joined a mentorship program within 3 or 4 months of that. I was looking at that development deal in August of 2019. And by November 2019, I joined the Jake and Gino community. 3 days after that, I was at their first conference event, which was in Atlanta, Georgia. And then a month later from that, I was down in Florida speaking with brokers. This is how fast I went. And I was talking to brokers. I met people. I had ridiculous conversations with brokers who asked me, what kind of cap rate are you looking for? And I said, I'm on an 8 cap. And at that time of 2019 and just the beginning of 2020, cap rates were in Tampa were sub 6% cap rate. They even got down to like 3% for A class in the subsequent year and a year and a half. And now they're back up to 5-ish, depending on the class, right? So C class is going to be 6 cap. Anyway, he laughed at me. He was like, 8 cap. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about, but it didn't matter. And I still talk to that guy today. And actually, I got him to write a blurb in my um so I wrote a little book about Tampa, why you should invest in Tampa. I got that guy to write a blurb in that little article about why you should, an ebook essentially that I give out as lead magnet, and really cool. And I still talk to him today. He ended up changing and switching, doing industrial. So I'm still learning about industrial through this guy. He no longer sells apartments. But anyway, I also, that same trip in December of 2020, met the brokers that I did my first deal with down in Tampa 3 years later. That's another podcast episode. So by 2020, this was 2009, at the end of 2019. By 2020, the beginning of 2020, I was putting up messages and posts about all of the research that I had done on Tampa, the Tampa market where I was looking in. I became known briefly for a few months as the Tampa expert of the Jake and Gino community. There were fewer members back then, and people started reaching out to me to network and discuss and learn and look at deals together. So, come springtime of 2020, I was looking at a number of deals and analyzing and getting on calls with a number of deals with a couple of guys that actually happened to be local here in New York, just looking down there. We built a relationship. We were looking at deals together. By the summer of 2020, they had a deal in Columbus, Ohio, 194 units. And I said, guys, I'm not ready for it. They invited me in on the deal. And I said, guys, I'm not ready for it. However, they proceeded and closed on the deal. And they asked me again in the fall of 2020. And we closed in November of 2020. I joined their team and we closed. I then had 194 units under my belt as a general partner, owner of 194 units within 12 months of starting my real estate journey. So back to step 5, it's take action. Had I not known these people well enough, had I not visited with them in person, had I not been looking at deals with them for a few months at that point, I probably would not have jumped in a deal with them. However, at that point, my deal coach and my accountability coach, we all knew each other. We all knew the network I was working with, and they all said, Nico, it's time to take action. It's time to do something. They pushed me into it. So step 5 was take action. And I'm so glad that I did. I have to make another podcast on what came out of that. Okay, so within 12 months, step 1, realization. I realized that I could not do this on my own and that I needed team members. I was not going to take down a multifamily apartment complex on my own. Step 2, and constant. Education. I needed to always be educating myself to learn more and more about how to buy the deals, how to own them, how to operate them, how to be networking with people. Step three, join a mentorship program and connect with people that are doing what you want to do. When you're joining a mentorship program, vet a few different platforms and programs and call the people to get testimonials from them and their experiences. Get on calls with them. Constant. Step number four, also be networking all the time. Constants, always educating yourself, always networking. And then step five, you have to take action. I know a lot of people who are just too afraid to take action, who have been in this game for years and not taking action. They're not going to get those 194 units. You have to take a risk. You might lose money. You might lose credibility, but you might gain and win big. And we did. We had a turnaround in 18 months of this property. We sold it for a 1.7 equity multiple, something that is incredible, something that cannot necessarily be replicable today. But it was because I took those 5 steps that I got into my first 194 units within 12 months. And you can do the same. If you ever have any questions, need help, need guidance, reach out to me. You can email me. I am here for you. I can be your mentor. I can be your help for the time being. Let's get out there. Let's get our first 194 units within 12 months. Step one, realize you need a team. Step two, educate yourself constantly. Step three, join a mentorship or coaching program, or at least take some sort of courses or coursework. Do an online thing if you're afraid to talk to people. But step four, you have to be networking. So you got to break out of your shell, constantly networking. Step five, take action, close on the deal. Go out there, get a deal. All right, and that's a wrap, Small Axe community. So I wanted to take a minute to say thank you so much for listening to the show. And if you liked it or got any value from it, it would really mean the world to me if you would share it with someone else and write a review. Remember, guys, keep sharpening those axes. Let's get out there. Let's crush it. Love you guys.